Do we really have to talk about this? The insanity of it? The nincompoopery of it? Why do we even have a Second Amendment in America? The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, and yet they look for every way to infringe on those rights while they say, well, this is consistent with the Second Amendment. This right here complements the Second Amendment. We're not trying to infringe on your rights. We're just going to ban assault weapons, and we get to define what the assault weapons are. JB over there, the governor JB from Illinois, is going to ban assault weapons, and he already signed the bill. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker signed a statewide ban on assault weapons and high-capacity ammunition magazines Wednesday night after the state Senate and House approved the tyranny. And that's what it is. When you're talking about a ban, you are talking about individuals who just became criminalized if they possess the inanimate object that the political parasite said you shouldn't be in possession of. The House voted 68 to 41 to approve the ban Tuesday afternoon. The bill passed 34 to 20 in the Illinois State Senate on Monday. The legislation took effect immediately with Pritzker's signature. So immediately, boom, you have those firearms and those ammunition magazines, and you don't register them with the state, guess what you are? You are a newly minted, boom, criminal of the state of Illinois. Before signing the bill, JB raised the memory of the July 4th parade massacre in Highland Park last year, which left 7 people dead and 36 injured and left 2-year-old boy parentless. And this is all horrible stuff, guys. But what do they blame? The shooter used legally purchased semi-automatic weapon. Pritzker said the massacre was allowed to happen, quote, all because our state and our nation have been held hostage by the NRA and their allies time and time again. Well, the NRA, hate to break it to anybody here. No, I don't hate to break it to you because, truth fears no scrutiny. And facts don't care about your feelings. The NRA is decidedly against the Second Amendment. How do we know? Because the president of the NRA, Wayne LaPierre, said that, hey, if it wasn't for the NRA, you wouldn't have the NICS instant background check system, which we should call the NICS instant infringement check system. Shall not be infringed, Wayne. What's up with that? So there's this WWE dog and pony show that goes on between the Democrats and the NRA. The NRA is evil. Well, I agree. The NRA is evil. But the reason the NRA is evil, from my perspective, is because they're decidedly against the Second Amendment. When these people, these leftists, think that they're for the Second Amendment. After nearly every mass shooting, we've seen efforts to ban dangerous weapons thwarted, and then leaders send their thoughts and prayers while they throw their hands up, resigning themselves to the idea that gun violence, which, by the way, is a euphemism, guns, inanimate objects, do not initiate violence, but human beings who use tools like guns, or like a baseball bat, or like a hammer, or like an ice pick. You don't see them calling ice pick violence, or knife violence, or scissors violence, but they will say gun violence because there is an agenda, right? And what's that agenda? To criminalize the common folk, to criminalize the poor folk, to create an infringement, to create a barrier, to create a hindrance, to keep them from reaching out their hands and being able to grab an effective tool that they can use to defend themselves. That's what this is all about. And that people can't see it is mind-blowing to me. Resigning themselves to the idea that gun violence is a sacrifice that Americans must accept, but it doesn't have to be that way. Pritzker emphasized that he and members of the Illinois General Assembly have been battling the gun lobby to pass gun safety legislation. You hear that, guys? They don't call it gun control anymore. Why? Because it sounds too much like, I don't know. It sounds like somebody's trying to control somebody. So we got to take the edge off. We might got to make the euphemism a little bit more deceptive. We're going to call it gun safety legislation for years and with some success. But until now, bans on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines have been elusive. Trying to criminalize all these people who wanted to walk in the fullness of their Second Amendment right has been elusive. Let's just say it like it is. Pritzker noted that while most attention has gone to, quote, weapons of war, such as AR-style rifles, which, from what I understand, they don't use on in the theater of war, like the one used in Highland Park, many mass shootings also involved handguns modified by switches that turn them into automatic weapons. I was reading this Hill article and it said, we're also going to ban that little thingamadoogie that turns a handgun into an assault weapon. Before the thingamadoogie, not an assault weapon. After thingamadoogie, assault weapon. So you couldn't assault anybody with it before, but afterwards you can. Phew. So glad the politicians are here to make us safe. I feel so much safer, don't you? Oh yeah, it's like a ton of bricks has been relieved from my backside. Many mass shootings also involved handguns modified by switches that turn them into automatic weapons. Such a modified handgun was used in the mass shooting in May of last year that killed 2 people and wounded 7 outside of McDonald's in Chicago. Quote, gun violence is an epidemic. Well, what if I told you that gun violence, inanimate object violence, is a political tool to gain power over the weak minds of the masses? Gun violence is an epidemic that is plaguing every corner of this state, and the people of Illinois are demanding substantive action. Do you hear that? The people of Illinois, they include you in that. Don't you love it when they generalize? When somebody speaks for you? Don't speak for me, Pritzker. With this legislation, we are delivering on the promises Democrats have made, and together we are making Illinois gun laws a model for the nation. Oh, this is Emmanuel Chris Welch. Senate President Don Harmon and Governor Pritzker said in an earlier joint statement on Monday after Illinois Democrats reached a deal to approve the legislation. Welch, Harmon, and Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton also spoke and thanked advocates before Pritzker signed the bill. Passage of the assault weapons ban came down after almost 5 full days of backroom deals and discussions and debates. After the House passed a slightly different version of the legislation last week, the clock had been ticking to pass the ban before current lawmakers leave office and newly elected ones are sworn in. We got to get this under the wire, boys. We got to make sure we criminalize as many people as we can, as fast as we can. Pritzker had said that he wanted the bill passed by Tuesday so that he could sign it before the end of the current legislative term. Speaker Welch said the legislation bans the sale, delivery, and purchase of assault-style weapons and high-capacity magazines, boys. In Illinois, long guns will be limited to 10 rounds per magazine, and handguns cannot have more than 15 rounds. This legislation includes a comprehensive, detailed, and updated list of assault weapons subject to the ban, and if you have them, oh boy, are you in trouble. The bill also bans the possession and use of rapid-fire devices that increases the firing rate of semi-automatic weapons. That's something we should really be proud of. It's historic. Yeah, it's historically tyrannical. And if we don't learn from history, guys, my brothers and sisters in Illinois, we are doomed to repeat it. Those already owning guns on the assault weapons list will be allowed to keep them. Thank you, Daddy Government, for allowing me to keep my assault weapon. Thank you for permission, because I'm just a little guy. Free men don't ask for permission. We don't need your permission. Thank you. You're welcome. Those already owning guns on the assault weapons list will be allowed to keep them, but would have to register them with the Illinois State Police. By the way, the state police can carry whatever gun they want because they're police. They're the law enforcement agents of the political parasites. So the political parasitic class can have it, and the law enforcement class can have them, but you're going to have to register them. We got to know where they are so that when we confiscate, you'll appreciate. Sounds like it's time to vacate Illinois. It would still be legal for current owner, Why? Why do we have a Second Amendment? Nobody's paying attention to it. All right, I'm not speaking about you. I'm talking about all these leftist kooks. It would still be legal for current owners to possess such weapons on their own private property, at gun ranges, in designated hunting areas, and in other locations. The ban will, in addition, expedite the implementation of universal background checks, thanks NRA, but would not change the age range for a firearms owner's identification. That's the FOID card. The Senate president introduced the final version of the bill in committee on Monday morning. On Sunday, Welch said the House would not accept a watered-down version of the bill, but on Monday evening, Welch, Harman, and Pritzker said that they had reached a deal on the legislation, so it passed. Opponents of the legislation have said that it would do nothing to reduce violent crimes in Illinois. Now, I'm not agreeing with this because some Republican said it, but it's just common sense. This person said, and this is Illinois State Representative Patrick Windhorst. He says, quote, people who break the law, people who commit violent crimes are not going to register their firearms, are not going to turn in their magazines. This will not stop that crime a frickin' man. What will happen is the law-abiding gun owners will be yet again impacted by laws, negatively impacted, I might add, and this General Assembly yet again have their Second Amendment rights restrained. Some Republicans even went so far as to say they would openly defy the ban. Quote, and this is from Representative Blaine Wilhauer. We will not comply, and you're not going to do a darn thing about it because the law, the Constitution, and the founding principles are on our side. I like what this guy said. Outgoing Illinois State Senator Darren Bailey, who lost to the governor's race to Pritzker, tweeted, quote, I'll die on my front porch before anyone takes my guns. My message to Springfield, if you want my guns, come get them. And I think here's the tweet right there. So I in a sense, I feel bad for my brothers and sisters in Illinois, but on the other side of it, when injustice becomes law, and this is truly injustice, what did the founding fathers say? Resistance becomes duty. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below. If you haven't done so already, take time right now, subscribe to this channel, hit that bell notification icon, give this video a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know, and leave a comment because it really helps with the algorithm. When there's engagement, then they start, recommending the video and all that kind of stuff, and that really helps. All that's free stuff right there. If you want to support the channel further, grab a hard-hitting, conversation-starting design you get for the shirt store. You can put on a shirt, hat, mug, hoodie, cell phone case that you'll be using to record the police and corrupt politicians. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the views. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares. And I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow banned video, Skippy.
Subscribe for more tyranny busting content.